Let me just go dust it real quick because they had a fog machine 2 days ago and everything's got.
So let that keep running. Okay.
Because I don't want to block the audio either.
Nope, don't block the audio.
And I don't want to
He's
show.
got to stand right here, okay?
He's getting something apart. He's getting something.
Yep, this has to be raised. Oops.
Let me dust it real quick for you.
Sure. Okay.
There we go. So, what I was thinking, if you're gonna use the tablet, why don't we match the height?
Stand up. Shall I stand up?
Why don't we just
Sure.
put it like this, and I'll go get a C-clamp, and that way you can just clamp it to the stand.
Clamp it to
That way
the
you don't have
stand.
to hold it.
Okay. You just keep pointing it in this direction. Because nobody wants to see the floor and nobody wants to see anything.
In the smoking sign.
Correct.
There we go. A couple of these guys that hold it. You can just clamp it right there on the edge. Will that work for you?
I don't know what we're talking about.
Here.
You just want the camera. Good. No, it's gotta turn the other way.
Which one? Oh, my bad. I didn't.
It's okay.
I
That's
thought it was
okay.
front facing.
We got the camera right here.
All right, let's try this again.
We'll learn it
Let me
as
see
we
it.
go.
Where is the camera? Right there?
Yep.
Okay. How do I tell what we're actually seeing is the hard part.
I can't.
We can flub it. We can just kind of have it so it's...
You know what we can do? How about if we lower this and I can put my elbows on
No,
this
no,
to
let it
stabilize
just
it.
run on its own. That's going to be easier for you.
Let me see.
Actually, that should be fine. I think maybe we'll tilt this a little bit straighter. Okay.
Well,
Well,
like
I'm
that.
not getting you. I'm not getting anything. I'm
Yeah.
just getting.
shoot, I don't know how you're gonna pull that off with.
What's
It's
it
gotta be
showing?
my way.
Take a look at the visual. What's it showing?
It's showing your face now.
Good. Okay. So have it in a way so
But it's
just...
giant. Your face isn't giant.
Oh,
Maybe it's zoomed in. See if it'll.
Oh, great. Thank you.
good. So
I don't have a stand that I could facilitate.
Okay,
this,
then
it's
let me
not-
just move that
I also
out.
don't want you wearing yourself out trying
Yeah,
to
I
do
know.
this too.
why don't you just put it? Why don't you just do this? How's that? Sit in that seat and rest your...
Okay. All right.
Can you handle that?
Yeah, I can, because the seat twirls, remember.
No, that's not helping you.
No, I'm good. That's okay. Let's just do it instead of spending an hour trying to figure out what to do, because by then I'll be so tired we won't do anything.
Give me just one more minute.
He's got
Sure.
One good idea.
That's kind of him.
Because we don't want you holding it, because it's going to be a good 20-minute hold.
I know, I don't have a tripod either.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
problem.
I got my topics all in a row here.
Could you possibly move closer? Put your elbows on that
Yeah,
and see
great.
if that would work. But let me tighten this up. I didn't realize it was.
Can you raise it a little bit more?
Absolutely. Right there, work.
Yeah, that's good.
That's the
Good,
it's gonna
thank you.
tilt on me.
Because I have to be careful. I can't do the audio and handle everything. Good.
Is that looking good?
Yeah.
You
What do you
got
think?
it. Okay.
Now, the running time we're looking for this to be is just like 21 minutes.
Right.
That's enough. That'll
Okay.
be good. Okay, I think we're good.
Sounds good. I will be in the control room here. Just give me 1 minute,
Very good.
and then I'll be talking to you on the headphones.
We're 3:30 minutes.
Fine. Now, don't cut it off after 21 minutes. I'm just telling him that's how long this show should go. So if that keeps running for 25 minutes, fine.
Okay.
Because we want to capture this whole experience. I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me on the mic? Very good. Okay. Okay, so do you want to run that now so I can hear the bumper music come up? Very good. Nice, nice. I like that. I like. Okay. Good afternoon. This is Star Roselli on KFNX Radio. Again, our call letters are KFNX Radio, 50,000 watt blowtorch here in the Valley. And we're here to discuss some issues, some excellent issues today. It was good, but here's the thing. That bumper music was washing. It seemed like it was drowning me out. Is there a way where you're going to separate me from the music? Okay. Okay. Now, how will we know the spot where we're going to do the call-in? When I say the call-in, will that be enough of a cue for you to be able to make the phone call? Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go live. You're going to do the bumper music. Of course, you're not going to hear this on your side, YouTubers, because we're just hearing. You can't hear what I hear on the speaker.
Okay.
But Tom, you're going to run the bumper music, and then I'm going to do the intro to the radio station, and then I'm going to start the topic, and then that's everything? Okay. I'm ready. Good afternoon. We are here, KFNX Radio here in the Valley, and we're going to be discussing issues. Wait, start it over. Hey, now listen. Wait, one thing, Tom. I'm going to take this off and I need to hear myself. So can I do this? I can just hold it to one ear?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, let's do it again.
And don't yell.
Just make sure you're projecting towards the mic. Don't worry about it. If you can, not facing anywhere else.
All right, then let me do
Just the clearest sound.
Let me do one more thing. I have to raise this stand then, okay?
You got it?
Is that maxed out? Is that everything? Is that as high as we can go?
If it's wobbly, then yes.
Okay, that's okay. I just want to make sure I'm not good, because I have to have the paper in front of me so I can read off of it.
Do you want me to lower the mic a bit so you can?
Yes,
the
that would be.
angle-
Yes, that would be probably really excellent. Actually, great. Without hitting the stand.
Touch.
Very good. I got that.
Is that better? I think
Yeah.
that'll work.
I think I'm good. So, okay, perfect. Excellent. Thank you.
All right. Just 1 minute here.
Sure. Okay, everyone, so you might hear a little bit of the sound now, because I have it to one ear. Turn it. I am ready. Good afternoon. We are live today on a weekday. This is KFNX Radio. Again, KFNX Radio here in the Valley, 50,000 watt blowtorch. And we're here to talk about the topics others will not touch. So let's get into it. Let's really talk about what has to be talked about. We're going to start with topic 1. No, Tom, what was that?
I don't know, that was very clever. See what's going on here.
I got some crazy piano coming in after the bumper music.
Let's do it one more time from the top, just because I had to adjust the level even down further, just because it sounds like we're getting a little more warmed up here.
Okay, very good.
It sounds really good, though. You sound great in the mic. It's awesome.
Thank you so much.
You got it. Here we go from the top.
Very good. Good afternoon. We are here on KFNX Radio. Again, that is KFNX Radio, 50,000 watt blowtorch here in the Valley. What are we doing today? We are having a discussion about the topics of the day others will not talk about. Things that are too hot to hold. But we're going to do it right here, ladies and gentlemen, with your help and God's power. We're going to bring this down. We're going to bring this to the listeners, and we're going to solve the issues, and we're going to make a big discussion. So here goes. Hold on to your seats. Here we go. The first topic of the day that we're going to be dealing with is what's going on in Iran. Have you been listening to the news? And before you roll your eyes and say, Star, I've really heard it all before. And again, my name is Star Roselli. I'm your humble announcer here at KFNX Radio, and I will be guiding us through the issues and the topics that we need to handle. So the first topic we're going to deal with briefly is the Iran threat to Israel. Sometimes people say, well, that's far away. It's on the other side of the world, Star. Why do we care about that here in the Valley? Because basically what goes on there eventually will visit you at your doorstep. So we want to prevent that from happening. Remember back in, before I was born, before most of you were born actually, because I know everyone here is probably super young. Back in World War II when Hitler was going through different nations in Europe, people says, I don't care, it's not my nation, I don't have to worry about it, they didn't come for me. And then of course they kept whittling their way, Italy to France to Poland, and then slowly it got closer and closer and closer, and then voila, what happens? America had to get involved. So that's kind of what we're trying to talk about. We're in that same vein of insecurity and concern for the United States of America. After all, folks, I love this country. I know you do too, and we're not going anywhere. We're staying right here because after all, it's our home. Land of the free, home of the brave, exactly. Land of the free, home of the brave. And we love our veterans. We give a big, exciting hand clap to our veterans. So what I'm going to discuss with you today is that there is a threat with Iran building the nuclear atomic bomb to basically blow up the world. And most people say, well, that's been going on, yada, yada, for a very long time. I haven't seen it happen. I think it's probably just a lot of talk. Not really, because I'm going to show you some of the specifics. I'm going to slowly pull you into this conversation, slowly bring your thought process to what we're talking about, the dangers and the destruction of Iran. The Biden administration has gone ahead and said they're going to go back to, I believe it was the 2015 nuclear treaty, where they're going to get us back into this crazy connection for the Iranians to be able to, I guess, build their bomb. There's going to be some kind of they're going to look at them or they're going to watch them. The sanctions are staying on Iran for now, and that's what's crushing their economy, and that's what we want to see happen, because God forbid, let me say that again, folks, God forbid the U.S. does not hold on to the sanctions that we have against Iran. You're going to see that their economy will blow up in a bad way for us, but they'll be very successful because they'll be able to export their oil and many other things that Iranians produce that will make them successfully build the nuclear bombs even quicker and put up more protective measures, defense measures to protect us from not knowing what's going on over there. So Israel, just a few days ago, this is right off the press, fresh news. Israel has launched a cyber attack against Iran using drones. If you don't know what drones are, which we all do at this point, basically it's a manless machine that flies in the sky, and basically they're different sizes, and some of these drones are the size of small airplanes, and they can carry all kinds of surveillance material. They can carry Hellfire missiles, many things that you and I aren't privy to because we're not in that realm of this world. But basically what we're talking about here is these drones have been sent into the city of Karaj. Karaj is the city, and that's near Tehran. Now, if you're not quite sure where Tehran is, that is the capital of Iran. And so what they went ahead and did was they sent these drones in, and they were calling it a medical facility, folks. Iran was saying, oh, no. This is not a nuclear facility. It's a medical facility. That's the wrong answer. It's not a medical facility. It is truly a facility where they build bombs. So no, that's not true. And what they're trying to do here is the Nuclear Energy Agency of Iran was the one saying that, no, it's a medical facility. But anyway, America and Israel found out it's not such as what they're saying. So they went over there and they destroyed their radar. And Iran is all in a tizzy. They've got their underwear all in a bind because they're frustrated and they're saying, wait a minute, this shouldn't have happened. It should have happened, actually, folks, maybe 40, 50 years ago, before most of us were even on this planet, because Iran is going to keep building and building and building and building their nuclear plant until they have a bomb that's major. Once that's launched, everything is over with. So there'll be no more flowers, trees. I don't know what your favorite ice cream is or what your favorite orange juice is, or if you're a drinker, I don't know what your favorite hard liquor is, but all that's out the window. Why is it all out the window? Because there's no more United States of America. Actually, there's no more world. Goodbye to the world. So we're going to keep that from happening. How? By watching what's going on over there, by keeping our eyes focused on what's happening. And Israel, by the way, is one of our best friends. If you're not quite sure about this, we have the Mossad. The Mossad is one of their secret intelligence agencies, similar to our CIA that's located over in Virginia. And we really need to hold on to Israel as our best friend. So the situation there is a very scary one. And I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with it, but I'm happy that I heard that they destroyed their radar. Now, they didn't destroy the actual nuclear facility, and you're saying, Star, why did they not do that? What good did it do to do that? Between you and me, folks, just you and me here on the line, no one else is listening but us, I believe basically it was a test run to see if we could destroy the radar systems. The next time we're going to do this, maybe it's in a couple weeks or months, we'll be able to not just destroy the radar, but we'll go full in and we'll just go ahead and bomb the facility once and for all and just bury this thing. Put this baby to bed so we don't have to worry about it occurring anymore in our lives. So that's our topic for today about Iran. So in the future, you could call in. I really don't have the time at this moment for any call-ins because this monologue, we have some really good topics and issues to handle here. So I want to continue onward, but I will have time in a few minutes for one caller to call in. Not yet, though. So let me head on to topic 2, which is somewhat connected to this first topic, because I don't want to lose any of you listeners. If you're falling asleep, wake up. I'm still here. The radio is playing. We're live on the radio, and you're listening to me live. This is Star Roselli, and of course, you want to hear us on KFNX Radio, 50,000 watt blowtorch here in the Valley, and that's the purpose of being here, is to let you know what we're doing. Second thing I want to talk about is this gentleman. Is he really a gentleman? I don't really know this. He is the new president of Iran. Now, his name, excuse me if I get the linguistics wrong. It's Amir Tasfati. I believe that's correct. Amir Tasfati. This man is the, I don't really know what to say about him, but let me hit on another thing that just dawned on me. The air defense system that stopped the drones. There's some problems going on in Iraq still, if you can believe it. There's that green zone. Everyone talks about the green zone. You and I I'm not going to bore you with that, but the U.S. Foreign Ministry has blocked certain situations, the domains of Hezbollah. So Victoria Base, which is over there in Iraq, was bombed. And this just happened a few days ago, the same time the Israelis went in and took out the radar of Iran. And this is a U.S. military base, Victoria Base, and this is near Baghdad. And we believe it's Hezbollah who attacked this, which Hezbollah, if you're not quite sure, they're the Palestinians, and Hezbollah is the military arm of them. And they're the ones basically with all the money, all the bombs, all the hate, and all the disgust for America and Israel. So we don't know what's going to happen with that, but I had to hit on that quickly to let you know, because it sounds kind of sad, but they call us the big Satan and they call Israel the little Satan. I don't think we're Satan at all. I think we're actually a pretty good country. Don't you think? I mean, I'm out there and I'm out and about and I see people having a great time shopping, going grocery store shopping. Pretty much we want to basically, as Americans, live our lives to the fullest now. We want to have the most disposable income in our pockets because, hey, we want to have fun, don't you? I do. I'm having fun right now. I hope you are listening in your cars or at home or wherever you happen to be, camping or swimming. You know, keep this on, by the way, all the time, because, you know, when you're on KFNX Radio, you're really getting the latest news. You're getting the most exciting personalities. And let's say Star Roselli, I'm probably one of the most exciting personalities I think you'll find. So moving on to this other man, he's the president of Iran. He's a 60-year-old named Ebrahim Raisi. I hope that's correct. Ebrahim Raisi. He was Iran's chief justice. He was a lawyer, folks, and he moved up the ladder up to chief justice. He was elected as the country's number 8th president. Can you believe they've only had 8 presidents? Where have they been? I guess they've been in the caves. Maybe they've been in the caves. We haven't been in the caves, although I'm recording. It looks like I'm in a cave, but I'm not. I'm in a studio. So basically, he's the 8th president, and he won 61% of the vote. Now, you're going to think that's a lot, right? I would say it's a lot. It's actually the country's lowest voter turnout. Can you imagine? So, anyway, getting back to that, he was under the his hero or his theological predecessor, Ayatollah Khomeini, back in 1979. That was one of his men that he looks up to, this Abraham Razi, the 60-year-old. So that gives us some scary feelings, right? I'm kind of shaking right now even saying that. So the U.S. sanctions we have against him hopefully will hold out, and, we'll see what else goes on. We don't really know what else going to happen. So he ran in 2017, and he lost, by the way. So this wasn't his first run for president. So he's a one-time loser, second-time winner. And this is the scary part. And then I'm going to get off the topic. So don't change don't change the channel. Whatever you do, do not change the channel, because we're here at KFNX Radio. We want to make sure that you're listening to the current news, and we want to entertain you. We want to entertain the pants off of you. So don't go anywhere. Leave that station right where it is. So getting back to this, he was accused back in 1988 of killings of mass groups of people when he was a judge. This crazy man was a judge in 1988, and apparently he was killing people. So I don't know if you have any ideas on this. I'll take just one call if I can have someone call me in. I don't know if we're going to be able to have time for this, and we'll just see what we come up with here. If you want to let one caller on the line, we're just going to wait and see which one we're going to call through. So let's just see what we're going to find. Do we have that caller on the line yet? Do we have that caller on the line? Okay, we're just going to wait a second here because there's a few different
Where
people.
is he?
We're just waiting to see who's going to call in. Caller, are you there?
What happened?
Are you there, caller?
I am here.
There we are. I hear you loud and clear. So on this topic of Iran, give me whatever you want to give me. Just ask me what you want to ask. Make a comment and a question. And by the way, what's your first name? Tom. Very good, Tom. Well, we appreciate you joining us this afternoon on KFNX Radio for the Star Roselli Show, because we cover all the current events as no one else does, and we talk about the topics no one else will. So, Tom, go ahead with your comment or question.
Well, I guess what's the timeline to them possibly having this bomb done? Is that something that we should be scared in the near future, or is that the distant future, or?
Very good. Okay, I'll go ahead and run with that. Thank you for that call, Tom. We very much appreciated. Basically, what we're looking at here is the timeline they're saying is this could be probably 12 months away, folks. And I don't know about you, but I have a whole lot more living to do than 12 months, don't you? We want to be around here for probably decades upon decades upon decades. So 12 months is a really short time frame. So if you're listening out there, hello CIA, hello NSA, time to make a move, time to go over there, time to put together maybe, should we say maybe assassination? Very strong word. I hope we're going to be able to get that through. So we're going to go ahead and say that word anyway. We're going to let that stay out there in the air because we're probably the only ones that'll be able to get away with saying that here. So, but we don't want that to happen. So anyway, we're glad Tom called in. We're glad he made time today for us, and we're glad we took that call. So I hope I'm not shocking anyone. If anyone has wet pants and they have to excuse themselves for an underwear change, I will let you go. But I hope that didn't scare you with those words. But, you know, folks, this is America. How many people died for this country? How many of our veterans do we love? The military, the Marines, the Army, the Navy, the Coast Guard. You know, we love them all.
Air Force.
Yeah, the Air Force as well, because they're the ones with the bombs and with the military intelligence. We don't want anything happen to our country. And go ahead, military. We're all for them. So, you know, when you see a vet, you thank him for his service, because after all, he's been through enough. And I could do another topic about the VAs. I don't have time for that today. That's going to be in the near future. But we have a little expose going on with some things on that, which I'm not going to bring up right now. But that just, like, whets your appetite for any future plans you might have. So, okay, so we're going to go ahead and talk about our next topic. So this is going to be mostly monologue. Are you ready to hear this? Let that run still. This is going to be the lockdowns. How was your lockdown? Did you have a good time the last year and 2 months, year and 3 months? I lose track. It's been so much time that's gone by. My lockdown was pretty bad because I didn't really listen to the lockdown. I kept going out. I kept doing what I wasn't supposed to do and not wearing that mask. God forbid I don't wear that mask. That's when everything, all hell breaks loose when you don't wear the mask. The police come to your door, the FBI shows up, and the Attorney General comes in. Just waiting for Governor Ducey. Anyway, so, or Governor, I forget his name now, the one here in California.
Newsom.
Exactly. So we don't really know what's happening here, but anyway, we don't subscribe to the lockdown. Nobody wants to do the lockdown. If you notice, everyone, there's been such a pushback against that mask. It's such a wrong thing to do to someone. You know, if someone wants to wear a mask, folks, to feel safe, go ahead, knock your socks off. But to tell me you're going to wear the mask or you're going to jail, are you crazy? I'm not doing what you tell me to do. I mean, I live in America. The day this is China, I'm moving out. You know, if I have to be an expatriate, actually, I know some expatriates, some of the people who've gone to different parts of this country, parts of the world, excuse me, and they're pretty happy where they are. And how does it work? They get their checks mailed to them, whether it's 401k, stock checks, whatever they're getting. So all those checks get mailed to them where they live. But anyway, we want to stay in America because we love the country. But don't push us. Don't push us to the end of reality where we have to actually rethink our existence and rethink where we're going to live the rest of our lives. So that's not good. So they're talking about a new lockdown. And here's what we're going to say. It's something sponsored by our good friends at the UN. They're saying that they want to have a climate lockdown. How do you feel about a climate lockdown? Doesn't that sound pretty pathetic and crazy to you? So this climate lockdown will basically be connected into, you know, the weather and too much carbon in the air. And, you know, we have to close things down because, you know, man's polluting too badly. I mean, we've been here thousands and thousands and thousands of years. I go outside, I see a little smog here and there, but things look pretty fine to me. I think they do to you too. And John Kerry is one of the proponents of this, as well as Greta Thunberg and some UN officials as well. Now, Greta Thunberg is the current administration in Biden, and so is this John Kerry. You know, these people, they dug them up from the grave. I don't know where they brought them up from. I mean, these people are like 1,000 years old. And, you know, I want to have respect for my elders. I was always taught as a young woman, have respect for your elders. How can I have respect for a retread? You know, I have a friend who drives truck, and I have friends all over the nation who cops, military, I could go on and on. We know an FBI agent. And so we know someone that drives truck, and basically what I was told is when the tires get really worn down, they put what's called a retread. They bring it into the shop, they put glue on it, they put new traction on it because, you know, they can't replace the tire. It's too expensive. So this retread is the cheap way to go. That's what we have here in this administration. They're all retreads. They're the cheap way to go. They're all counterfeits. They're not real in their thinking. All this thinking is like someone on LSD. Now, mind you, I've never used acid. I've never dropped, I guess it's called dropping acid. I've never done that. But from what I hear, this is basically what we're dealing with. We're dealing with people who are basically the Walking Dead. You've probably heard of that series, like zombies. Well, that's what we have right now. We have the Walking Dead, people who are actually zombies, who are telling us our business, what we should be doing, how we should be living our lives. That's only been the last couple of years. Where were you when I was a child? You weren't telling me what to do. Where were you 10 years ago? You weren't telling me what to do. How did we get along without John Kerry, Greta Thunberg, and the UN all these years? Tell me, how did we get along? We got along just fine.
Better.
And by the way, they're going to come and go, and you and I will be just fine without them. So that's pretty much the situation there, which is unfortunate. So anyway, there's been an international agency report by the UK how we're going to have to be restricting our thermostats. What does that mean? Turning it down. Turning it down. So today, for instance, I'm looking outside. It was 113 degrees. First of all, what do you think about that temperature, 113? Woo! Kind of hot, isn't it? So, well, that's what's going on right now, 113. And they want us to turn down the air conditioner because, after all, you can't have it 60 degrees. What's wrong with you? You need to sweat a little bit. Huh? It's like a job interview that goes on for the whole entire summer. It's a job interview times 6 months. So not only are you going to experience 112 degrees when you walk outside, you're going to come inside, you're going to be sweating inside, sweating outside. I hope you have cases of deodorant, and I hope your deodorant really works. Matter of fact, get the industrial strength deodorant, something that's really going to, actually sometimes I have 3 deodorants, and sometimes, sorry, maybe too much knowledge, but I like to rotate between my deodorants. Sometimes one smells better than the other. Have you ever had that in your life? Have you ever found that one works better than the other? Well, that's how it is with me. So we're going to be turning down the thermostat. We're also going to be restricting our moving. What does that mean? We're driving too much. We're going too far in our wherever we're transporting to, too many miles a day. So maybe we'll keep it to 40 miles a day. So, you know, God forbid you live 50 miles from work, you're going to have to carpool the whole way in, and maybe you might have to take 2 carpools because the one carpool can go 20 miles. He's reached his restriction. Jump on another car. They can go 20 miles. They've reached their restriction. And maybe your grandmother, your mother, your husband can have your car waiting at the 3rd stop so they can take you the last 10 miles. A little bit crazy, I think, don't you think? So that's what they're going to be doing. And now when they want to fly, how do they fly their vehicles, their planes? How do they come up with a moral justification for doing that? I've never heard of that before. They take their big, huge jets all over the place, massive carbon footprint, just burning up the skies with all kinds of pollution. And where does that pollution come? Comes on our head, comes in your child's lungs, comes on our gardens, comes on the strawberries you eat, the lettuce you eat. What do you like to eat, folks? Whatever you like to eat was grown outside for the most part. Some is hydroponic. So whatever you're eating that was grown outside, guess what? It's got all this gook and crap on it, and that's from them flying their planes because they don't want to restrict their travel. So I want to get into the last topic. Still on the same topic. No more red meat. They're saying that has to go out the window because red meat is poisoning the world. It's poisoning you. And it's debatable. Some red meat's not that good. There's different qualities of red meat. I personally don't eat meat. If you want to eat meat, go to it, knock your socks off. Why? Because you live in a free country. And I want you to do what you want to do. I don't want you to do what Star wants you to do. I don't want you to do what John Kerry wants you to do, or Greta Thunberg, or some UN official named Humba Kappa Hipa Hipa out in Africa or some Malaysian country. I don't care what's going on over there. This isn't Malaysian, it's not Africa. And I'm sorry if you're offended, but the thing is, obviously you're listening to this radio show here in the United States, right? Otherwise you'd be over in Mr. Kupa Kappa Kanga's territory, which you're not. So get with it, okay? Get with it and tell them Star sent you. So the UK is right now going under a CO2 ration cards. Have you ever heard of this before? A ration card? When I heard this, I didn't even understand what it means. So apparently you're allowed so much carbon per month. And this is true, folks. I never lie. So these are going to be a ration card they're going to use. And how much energy you use. There's a German climate advisor who's proposed all this. What do you expect? That's Andrea Merkel country. That woman's such a loser. I can't stand her. And I hope you feel the same way I do. I mean, she fought with Trump every step of the way, and she's not really a good person. Anyway, I'm making enemies here on the radio, so I might as well make them right now. Let you know what I think. Our last guy is Chuck Schumer. He wants a national climate emergency right now. He's been pushing right now in the new administration for a national climate emergency. That's good old Chuck Schumer. He's the ambulance chaser lawyer out of New York. You've probably heard of him. Guy's been around like 1,000 years. Looks like a dinosaur. But God forbid you ladies have to marry someone like that. Holy cow, turn your head. No matter how much makeup you put on him, it's not going to change his looks. And you don't want to judge someone by looks. But Lord, you can judge a book by its cover sometimes. And he's a classic example of that. So that's everything. And the word of the day today is scientific racism. That's what they're using. Have you ever heard of that? It's a first for me, scientific racism. So anyway, the basic bottom line of this is our whiteness is standing in the way. I can't help that I'm white. None of us can help who we are. If you're Jewish or Chinese or black, we love everyone. We're here to get along. We're here to just we have things to do. We have to pay bills, get careers done, enjoy our life, get married, go to school, have dinner, drive a car, go on vacation. Who cares what culture we are? We're America. We've always been multicultural. What is this junk about our whiteness stands in their way? When I heard that, I just almost fell off the chair. And by the way, I'm not even on a chair. I'm standing. So, okay. So, that's pretty much the whole situation here. So, I want to hit one last thing. Mark Milley, who's he's a Secretary General here in the Pentagon. He's the chairman, of the Joint Chief of Staff. He's really hopping mad about all this as far as he's pro-Trump and pro-environment and against eating meat and turning down your thermostat and not driving too far. So I don't know what we're going to do with him. He's talking about white rage. Have you ever heard of that? Guy's crazy. Off the hook. I saw a picture of him. God, he looks like Chuck Schumer's brother. If I had to look at that thing, I'd have to lock him in a closet somewhere. Yuck. Anyway, stay away from him. Stay away from Mark Milley and Chuck Schumer. Really bad people. So, so now we're going to change gears to our last topic of the day, and this is exciting. So if some of you thought this was getting a little too heady, we're going to go ahead and close this out with this topic here. And once again, you're listening to me on KFNX Radio, Star Roselli. And we love all you listeners out there. You keep listening because you're going to be surprised at the show, how it keeps just getting better and better and better. We're going to talk about, guess who? Let's go into old Hollywood here. Let's pull back the curtain and let's go back into before our time here, way back to Marilyn Monroe. You're saying, what? Star? Marilyn Monroe? She's been dead since 1963. I know, way before I was on this planet. But here's what we're talking about.
60.
You can let it run.
62.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about here is there's a gentleman out there. It's kind of going to some kind of a theory here how this man could have been probably offed. His name is Fred Otash. Who is Fred Otash? Come to find out, he was a private investigator. This man existed back in the 50s and 60s. And I came upon this story and I was like, wait a minute, this is 2021. Why do we really care? I was interested because don't you want justice done no matter what year it is? If someone gets murdered or someone gets offed, don't you want to know what happened to them? Whether it was 1900, if it's the turn of the century, it really doesn't matter, right? Right is right, wrong is wrong, justice is justice. So this man, Fred Otash, he was a Hollywood investigator. Now this man was in the 50s and 60s. He grew up in Massachusetts. He joined the LAPD. That was his first career that he was successful in. Now when he got out, he became a private investigator. And he worked for, oh my goodness, all kinds of famous celebrities. The likes of Frank Sinatra, Marilyn Monroe, Judy Garland, Betty Davis. Remember her, Betty Davis. Lana Turner. I believe Lana Turner was Frank Sinatra's wife, if I have the gossip correct.
No.
And no? Okay. And he was also paid by this magazine called Confidential. This was a magazine that existed in the 50s. And unfortunately, they outed people like Liberace, Tab Hunter. And the 1974 movie Chinatown that had Jack Nicholson was the Fred Otash was the inspiration for Jack Nicholson in this movie here, Chinatown. Chinatown was a movie from 1974. I had to go ahead and look it up because I knew nothing about it, and I've never seen it, didn't know anything about it. I know who Jack Nicholson is, I think. So I looked that up, and it was very fascinating to see. The movie looked kind of interesting. I saw like a five-minute outtake. So basically, in 2013, his daughter went ahead. Her name was Colleen. She opened up 11 boxes of information he kept. Can you imagine? So this was some of the things that Fred Otash had. Now, we're going to get into it here for a minute here. So just hold on to your panties. If you need to get a drink, by the way, if you need to get a snack, let me just take a break here for a second and go ahead and let me just let you go away. I'm just holding out here and just making a little small talk, whatever you need to do, because we want you to really hear the balance of this. This is super duper good. So here goes. Here we go. We're coming right back into it. You ready? So Fred Otash is this private investigator. Now, Marilyn Monroe hired this man to protect her and to basically follow her around. Here's where the nitty-gritty, this is where it gets kind of crazy. He listened to her die. If you can imagine, he actually listened to her die the night she died. And that wasn't part of the deal. He just was kind of a strange bird, and he wanted to just pursue her like most men did in their days. And he heard her die, and he says before she died, the hours before she died, she was in a massive, let me say that again, massive argument with this Mr. Robert Kennedy and Peter Lawford. Now, Lawford supposedly called Otash the very next morning in the early wee night hours after she died that night, and wanted all the electronic recording devices, all his information pulled right out of there, like lickety-split, like pull it out like yesterday. So he removed all these things. Now, unfortunately, Mr. Otash's license was revoked by California. Why, you're going to ask? Well, the sad part is he was involved in the doping of a racehorse at one of the racetracks there in California. Crazy, right? Why do you need to do something that silly? But that's what he did. That's what he got off on. So his license was revoked. Now in 1992, this is building us up to the crescendo. Hold on. Call the priest, alert the city council. We're going to get to the end of the story here. In 1992, he lived in West Hollywood. Now he went to a celebrity dinner. Why did he go? Because he had this first draft of this unpublished book. Now the book was called Marilyn, the Kennedys, and Me. And this was all about basically his exploits, his situations that he faced with these people, and what she did and what Kennedy did and what everyone did, and who cares, right? So, but anyway, this was what was going on. This is why he went to the celebrity dinner. Now, later that night, this is where the situation gets sad. Later that night, he took a taxi to the airport. Now, we don't know what happens. I don't know if he was supposed to fly out or what. Now, he never made it because when the taxi came to Fred Otash's house, there was no Otash. So the doorman, get ready for this, the doorman went ahead and called his neighbors. So they come over, right? They start knocking. Nobody's answering the door. Somehow, someone gets inside the house. They must have had to break in. When they came in the house, they found him dead. Did I say that correctly? Dead. Now, he was found under the kitchen table. You're not going to believe this. Supposedly, this is the cause of death. Everyone seems to go this way whenever there's something suspicious. Heart attack. Now, if you die of a heart attack, how do they find you under the kitchen table? Under the table. I mean, when you fall on the floor, don't you? Or you fall straight down, or you fall to the side. However it happens, you certainly don't crawl under the table after you have a heart attack and die. So they found him actually underneath the table. And here's the other scary part. His attorney, right? He had an attorney, this man did. His attorney and the executor of the estate came in and removed all the contents of the apartment. What does that mean? All kinds of things disappeared. That first draft of that book that was supposed to be seen by the public, it's gone, folks. We have no idea what happened with it. So we truly won't know what happened at all. But I'll tell you, there's been a lot of suspense and there's been a lot of talk about this Marilyn, the Kennedys, and Me first draft book that was unpublished. But I will tell you, I've heard a lot of theories, and one theory keeps coming back again, how supposedly Robert Kennedy and John Kennedy were passing her around. She got tired of being passed around like a piece of meat. They murdered her. That's basically what happened. Powerful stuff, right? Powerful stuff. We can only say that now. Why? Because we have freedom of speech, for one thing, and because it's been like 65 years or something later. So God forbid this was 2-3 years later, I wouldn't be able to say this, or I wouldn't be standing in front of this microphone. I would have been dismissed. So anyway, so that's pretty much our whole show for today. We're very grateful that you made the time to be able to talk to us and come in and listen to us. I wish I would have had time for more phone calls, but I really wanted to dialogue with you and give you a ton of information. By the way, this is always going to be that way on KFNX Radio, Star Roselli Show. We're always going to have the current events. We're going to talk about and say the things others will not. So for now, I'm going to sign off. And with that, we should be hearing the bumper music come up now. And we enjoyed having you with us today. Okay, Star Roselli signing out. KFNX in the Valley.
Okay, it's off.
We're good?
Yeah, if you're trying to keep it at 20 minutes, it came out to 32.
All right.
So that's a call on yours. If you want to keep it that length, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll keep it that length. If there's any flubs in my words, maybe, I don't know, is it possible to cut anything out, or does everything does it mesh right?
The only spot would just be where you didn't hear me talking to you for that, split second or 2 or 3, and I can shorten that, but other than that, the rest of it was pretty congruent. So.
Okay, I'll come in now, okay? I'll come into your area.
Okay.
Bye. Hey, thanks for joining us, folks. We're signing out. Bye.
Bye. I can't.